Welcome back to Op Manager Plus training. Today, we will be talking about how Applications Manager plugin can help us to monitor the entire set of your applications and database in the Op Manager Plus. So, Applications Manager plugin is right available under the Applications tab. So, once you hit on the Applications tab, you would be able to have a download link where you can download the plugin, or you can also get the help from the support team and they would be able to assist you to download the applications plugin. To know which Applications Manager plugin version is compatible with your current Op Manager Plus, check for the Op Manager Plus version right here from the admin user. When you click on admin user, you will be able to find the build number. The Op Manager Plus build number is 12.6.257. So based on that, you have the version compatibility of Applications Manager plugin with Op Manager. This link can help you to understand which Applications Manager plugin version is supported or compatible with Op Manager. So get that downloaded. Once it is downloaded, it will automatically choose the right database for the Applications Manager plugin, and probably you would be able to see the same database tagged along with the Op Manager Plus database. So Applications Manager plugin can help you to monitor your applications like .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP applications, or application servers like your Glassfish, Tomcat servers, Oracle servers, WebLogic servers, your cloud applications like your Amazon, Google Cloud, Azure platforms, your converged infrastructure like your Nutanix, and you can also monitor your database servers starting from your Cassandra, MS SQL, MySQL, MongoDB, and much more. You can also even monitor more information about your mail servers, your DNS monitors, your Exchange servers. You can also check on your middleware portals. You can check, apart from that, you've got a lot of services, your web services, and much more can be captured to have an overall eagle view of your application's performance. Now, let's start how to discover applications in the Op Manager Plus. First, make sure you create the list of credentials. So go to settings of Applications Manager plugin and click on credential settings and add new credential, and all the supported credential type is listed right here based on the type of the database, based on the type of the application you use, application servers, middlewares. Just select the respective credential type and add their respective credential and save. So once you create the library of credential as we did in Op Manager, it is good to go. We would start the discovery process. So once credentials are all set, now click on Add Discover, and we would be able to have these applications loaded into Applications Manager plugin in three ways. One is to add individually. So when you click on Add, you have all of these listed down right here. You can click on, let's say you wanted to add a Tomcat server. Click on the Tomcat server. Provide the name for the Tomcat server which you would like to see in the Applications Manager plugin. Provide the IP address and a couple of more details as it requires. So you have got a help card which would tell you about a complete information of what is a prerequisite for each and every monitor. So once this is ready, that respective monitor is added. Likewise, you can also add any of your database servers. Let's say, for example, if it's an MS SQL. So it's an MS SQL server. You would be able to have your display name, a couple of more information on your MS SQL details, your username and password for your MS SQL server and the instances. And there are a few more prerequisites which you have got to take care as well. So once, likewise, each and everything which you want to add individually will have its own prerequisites. Match them and your applications or your database servers, application servers, anything as such would be added. Now let's talk about how do you add or bulk import multiple applications or database in one single shot. So when you click on bulk import, click on the monitor type. Let's say you wanted to do, let's say I do have about 50 MS SQL servers in my organization to be monitored. Let's say MS SQL. So I go for an MS SQL monitor type, and each and every type of the monitor I would like to add will have a sample CSV format. So when you click on the sample CSV, you would understand how the CSV format has to be. What are the information we would like to have them there. So these are the basic information we would like to have them in the CSV. Once you fed them with these information, we would be able to import them, though it is of a different range of IP addresses, quite not a problem. You can import them, and all of these multiple 50 MS SQL servers of different range can also be imported right here. That is where you would use your bulk import. So these are two methods where you would import your database applications or anything as such to be monitored. Now, one of the other interesting method to discover your applications is through ADDM. ADDM is nothing but your auto discovery and dependency mapping. So where if you've got a range of devices, maybe that could have been a different type of devices in the entire range. Let's say, for example, let's add a new range. Let's say name that as my branch office organizations. Let's say that is my branch office. So I would be able to select all the credentials which I've created, and I can do a range CIDR, or if it's a virtualization, we can go for that as well. So if it's a range, let's say my range is 192.168.1.10 to 192.168.1. Let's say 55. So in this particular range, I might have different type of my monitors. Let's say I might have a couple of MS SQL servers, a couple of JBoss servers, 2 or 3 Tomcat servers, a couple of more other mail servers or anything as such. So all of these are there in this range. So when I just provide the same, and all of these application servers will have its own port to communicate. So that's the default port which you could see right here. In case if that runs on a different port, make sure you separate them by commas and add your customized port right here as well. So once that is given, and you would be able to discover and add them to the inventory. So once it is discovered, you will be able to see a complete map of how that is connected to each other, how that has been dependent. Let me show you how that is. Here is how you can see how the dependency mapping is being there for a particular device range. So now let's see how those devices or applications or database which you have added is listed right here. So under the monitors, you could see there are URLs, couple of servers, service monitors, Tomcat servers, and a DB right here. Let's get into a DB and see how that data collection is for a particular DB. So here you will be able to see the PGSQL information. So where you can see the snapshot, you can see the connection statistics, the buffer statistics, log statistics, disk usage index, much more information about a particular database. And you also can see the performance, the database information, and you would also be able to see the session information, the replication, the configuration, and much more. So this is how the data collection starts immediately once the discovery is successful. So once the discovery is done, all the attributes which is associated to a respective monitor type is added, and it starts its data collection. So once the data is being collected, the next big task is to make sure we receive the right alerts at the right time to make sure we jump in and troubleshoot to fix any of these issues. So let's see how an alarm and a threshold configuration can be done for these monitors. Let's now go to settings and click on configure alarms. So here you would be able to see there are 3 types of alarms which we can configure based on how is our requirement. So we can do that by a monitor or a monitor group or by a complete type of the monitor. Let's see how to do by an individual monitor. When you select a monitor, you can select the monitor type. Let's say ours is a PGSQL. So you can just select a PostgreSQL and select the respective monitor which we have already added on the type PostgreSQL, and then you can configure the health and availability. So health is absolutely depends on the entire attributes. Let's say for PGSQL, the health represents the attributes which is being monitored for that PGSQL. Let's say it can be a long running queries, it can be a slow running queries, it can be buffer ratio hits, it can be deadlocks and connections, and any of these. So any of these attributes for a particular database combines together and represents the health information, wherein the availability would tell you about how is that PGSQL is up and running or not at the moment. It's called your availability. Let's configure the availability alerts. So when you click on availability, you can just do them based on create actions at the attribute level, where if the monitor is down, you can just create an action. If it's up, you can create another action. So I've already have an action called DB team where it will send an email to the respective team, where you can create actions, and the actions can be sending an email, or it can be an SMS, or execute program, or log a ticket, or any of these actions can be taken into account. So once you create an action, so that action is ready, save that action, and probably you will be able to have them listed right here. So once action is ready, select the action, send an email to the DB team if it goes up or down, and then save them. So the availability is now configured. Now let's talk about how an health, let's click on configure health, and you can see the attribute levels right here. So probably again, any type of actions which you want, you can see critical, warning, and clear. So based on that, you want to have them into different emails or the same email, you can just select them, save, so that your health threshold configuration is also be now configured. So this is how you configure your health and availability. Once this is done, then is where you would set your thresholds, because each and every attribute for a particular monitor type will need to set a threshold level. So where if you want to do anything on the buffer heads, cache hit ratio, or disk usage, let's say for example, will associate a threshold value. Either you can do by a machine learning, where it can automatically take the previous set of data collected and then it can associate the dynamic threshold values, or you want to create a static profile where you can create a new profile and then set, you can name the profile and then set if the disk usage goes anything about 500 MB, I want that as critical, and if it anything is equals, or let's say if it goes anything less than, or let's say it's greater than say 150 MB, so that has to be warning, and if it's equals or less than equals something about 149 MB, so it has to clear the alert automatically. So you can create a new profile as such, and then all of these thresholds can be associated with different attributes, so that can be used in future. This is how you create or configure alerts and set your threshold values. Now let's talk about how you can do that by a monitor group. So monitor group is nothing but a group of monitors. You put them together in a single group and use them for configuring your alarms. So where you can just create groups. So let's now talk about how to create groups. Let's go back to monitors and create a monitor group, and then let's say we will have to create a new monitor group, and then let's say let me name it as my branch office devices. So here I will be able to have access to these admin users, and I can create a group of devices. And when I say create group, I can just associate all the monitors which I wanted to have them in my branch office. So all of these PG SQLs and a couple of other services, all of them together, I want to have them in one single group and associate. So this is done. A monitor group is now created. So now let us configure alarms and then do by a monitor group. You will be able to see the new group we have created. So select that group, and if it's individual, if you select that as individual, then you have to configure the health and availability and do them by individually by one devices. If it's a template, where you can select the type of the template, let's say for all the PG SQL we have got there, in the branch office group, you can set a particular health and threshold values. So that is quite possible. Or let's say you wanted to do one by one, you can choose the individual as well. The next is about how do we do a configuration of alarms in a type of a monitor. Let's say for all of your MS SQL servers or all of your PG SQL servers, let's say it's a 300, 400 PG SQL or MS SQL servers you've got in your organization of different groups from different ranges. You have added all them together. So you want to set a same value for everything. So that's when you would be able to select a group as a monitor type and then set the threshold values for the entire group of all of your devices in that particular type of your monitor. That is also possible. This is how you will configure alarms, set the threshold values either by machine learning or static, and then create actions and send them as notifications or create tickets and much more. This is how any of your applications and database which is added being monitored can raise you alerts at the right time. That is how we have configured the alarms and threshold for your applications and database servers and all of the services. Now, let us talk about how Applications Manager plugin in App Manager Plus can help you to monitor your cloud applications like your AWS, Microsoft's Azure, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OpenStack, or Microsoft 365 or GCP. So, to any of these cloud services to be monitored, we will have to just click on the Applications Cloud tab and then click on the respective configure now, and you would be able to see the entire list of prerequisites for each and every type of your cloud applications. So you would have all of these prerequisites. Just make sure you get the prerequisites done and then click on the respective add icon, and you would be able to provide the respective details and add that as a cloud monitor. Once your cloud monitor is successfully added, you would be able to have them monitored in your Applications Manager plugin. Next, we would now be talking about few add-ons which these Applications Manager plugin can support. First one is about APM, Application Performance Monitor, which is APM Insight. APM Insight is an add-on which supports for these listed applications like Java, .NET, PHP, Ruby, PHP, Windows, Node.js, and .NET Core. So these are all the applications which you can dive deep into and analyze much more information, where you can just check the front end and back end informations and individual transactions, errors, where you would be able to end-to-end monitoring of your application. So when I say it's a Java, where you would have a few prerequisites again, where all of these are agent based monitoring, where you would have to download the respective agent and make sure you have entries on the respective machines, application servers, and you would be able to have them installed. So these would be able to help you to see more information. Let's see how an APM Insight monitor can give you a detailed information. So here you see a .NET application which is in the APM. So this is where you would be able to see the .NET application, where you can see the entire overview, the information about your aptX core, your throughput, your errors, your HTTP error rate, all of these detailed information, which is a complete end-to-end transaction information of that application, where you can see individual transaction informations. You can see your database information which is connected to the .NET application. What are the queries which runs at the backend? How much queries are being executed? What's the response time of those queries? What are the traces, the exceptions, your service maps, parameters, and the thread profile? All of these, which is an end-to-end detailed information of a particular application, can be captured. Likewise, you will be able to capture them for your .NET, .NET Core, Node.js, PHP, Microsoft, and for the Ruby Rails as well. This is where your APM Insight is all about. Where the next add-on we would be talking right now is on user experience. That's your end user experience, where you can monitor the end user's experience in any of these monitors like your DNS, LDAP, mail servers, ping monitors, real browser monitoring, and your telnet. This is again a agent-based monitoring, where you will have to install agent for any of these and you would be able to monitor the same. So what does this feature end user monitoring can help you is, you will have to install the agent on the end user machines. Say for example, you run an application. That application seems to be performing so well at your end, probably on a different location at the end user level, that particular application may not be working as expected. So probably the end user may be reporting to you that the application is not performing. So those kind of issues, if you wanted to address it in prior, make sure you install agents at different locations, at your branch offices in different locations, so that from that location, if you wanted to access a particular application and check how that performs, this is the best option, where you can have your end user monitoring. Let's say for example, let's go to the real browser monitoring and check how that is. So you would be able to see the EUM agent installed there, the agent's performance, and what are the details you would be able to get that from that location. So it's on an individual location level details, you would be able to get that for an end user level. And this also shows about the synthetic transactions, where you can start recording the step-by-step transactions of a particular website from a different location and re-record them again and then play them at the regular interval. So whenever that gets played, it will check from that location at that particular time how this individual transactions, individual pages of that URL is getting loaded. So that's how you would be able to see them right here. So you would be able to see multiple resource usage, count usage, and the screenshots of that particular website or the URL or the application being accessed. You would be able to know that. So you might have a sequence of transactions which you would want it to capture in a particular manner. So you can just record them in prior and then you can just play them in any of your browsers from a different location, and it will tell you about how that performed from that location. That is how your end user monitoring can help you. So the next one we would be able to talk is on real user monitoring. So that is called your real user monitoring is nothing but where you wanted to know how the real users who are accessing your application from different places are accessing. So the real user monitoring will help you to understand the applications, the front end complete information of that particular application. So probably you say you have an application which has been hosted from your location and you wanted to know how many users, the real users, are trying to hit to your application. What is the information from those people? How many users are trying to connect to your application? From where do they connect to reach to your application? How is that working? So that's what you would be able to check from the real user, where this is completely for your developers, where you can check and help you for your front end details. So you can see the summary scripts, your geographic locations of how the users are connected to your application, from which location. So you would be able to see the usage. So which area is the most number of users connecting to your application. So based on that, you can just tweak your application and make use of that. So you can have your ISP details. Which browser do your users use? What is the type of the device they connect through? What are the web pages they go across? What are the user sessions, the resources of the user sessions, the entire AJAX calls, the JavaScript errors, and much more. So this is one agent where you would have to install at the application server end, and you would be able to gain a complete information about your users. So based on your user information, maybe you can just push across and then tweak your entire application on that. So this is how your real user monitoring can help you with. So this is all about Applications Manager, where you would be able to start monitoring from your application servers, your ERP services, database, other services which you would already monitoring. Few add-ons which we are talking about right now on the clouds is not an add-on. Clouds comes as default. So you have the add-ons like APM Insight, the end user experience, and the real user experience. This is a complete information I wanted to share with you about what Applications Manager can give you. Before we leave the Op Manager Plus training, I also wanted to tell you how you can add containers right from the OPM Plus itself. So you can just get into the OPM Plus right here, click on settings, and you can just add containers right here. So you can just add Kubernetes, OpenShift, or Dockers right from here, and then click on add monitors. It automatically gets added to your Applications Manager and start its monitoring. Also, all your applications related alarms which you are seeing, all your alarms which you see will be available right under the Op Manager Plus Alarms tab as well, under your application alarms section. So that easy it is. So it will be more easy for you to check your alarms. To make sure all your alarms from your applications are sent to the Op Manager, you will have to just click on settings, and then go to actions and alarm settings, and you have to make sure you enable this alarm notifications to Op Manager server. So all the alarms which gets generated so far on how we have created your alarms and threshold configuration, all these alarms would directly be pushed to your Op Manager Plus alarms itself, and that is how you would be able to have your Op Manager Plus and as a one single solution to monitor your entire inventory of your organization, starting from your servers, your storage, your virtual environment, your applications, database, and all of these at one single shot. This is where you have your Op Manager Plus as an all-in-one comprehensive solution to monitor your entire network. Thank you for watching. We'll catch up in the next video.